When you tour the country, you see a wide variety of chargers. Some of them are pig ugly, others are a work of art. Here's my top 5 for aesthetics. Good looks. I'm Dave. Welcome to Dave Takes It On. So there's a wide variety of chargers out there on the market, the number of manufacturers who make them, and each manufacturer tends to make a number of models, so the choice is absolutely amazing. So what we're going to do a countdown backwards and explain why this particular one attracted me and why it's in the position that it is. And 5th on the list of my top 5 is EV Point. Now, EV Point is the EV charging branch of Euro garages. This is a nationwide petrol forecourt and petrol station model right throughout the country. And they have recently started switching over really big time over to EV charging. The chargers they have been using up until now are really attractive. They have a beautiful colour scheme. It's even more attractive at night. We're going to be showing photos of all of these, but they have so many features. First of all, nice and clear, nice and bright, lovely colours, nice and clean. I've never found a dirty one yet. And they also have so many little extras that make you stay there that much more pleasant. They have a fragrance, they have a tyre pump, and they have a hoover. So while your car is charging, you can actually be quite productive. I find the sites to be laid out really well. They're nice and open, there's no pressure, and the EV Point chargers will often have a drive-through lane for a caravan tower or for a lorry. So the whole thing is a nice feeling when you get there. They're not stunningly attractive units, they are available elsewhere, but they are, with the colour scheme and the layout of the sites, it's really a pleasant experience to spend some time there charging your car. Now, word of caution on this one, it is going to change. They are in the process of switching over their chargers from the current supplier over to Tesla with the V4s, and the Tesla V4s will be featuring a little bit up the list, spoiler alert. So we've got to see for the future, but when you go at the moment to EV Point, you're likely to find some of the older units. They're going to be 180 kilowatts or 300 kilowatts, and they're normally dual bay. They also have CHAdeMO as well. So keep an eye out for them and see whether they go up the list or down the list as the new charger starts being installed. Number 4 in the list is Fastned. Now, the site really appeals to me when you go there. There are so many reasons. They've got a cracking colour scheme, which is black, dark wood brown and bright yellow. And it really looks so neat. It's really well laid out. So the bays are well marked out, the units are well marked out. They're generally speaking 300 kilowatt units with a dual bay, so you can charge 2 cars at once. And 300 kilowatts means the least you'll get is 150 kilowatts, and that's enough for most cars. Unless you've got a very low state of charge and a very high rate charging speed car, 150 kilowatts is more than ample. They have on most locations a full canopy, and these are absolutely brilliant. I was down in Oxford at the Fastned services there, and I was down in the summer and it was baking sunshine, and that was really welcome to keep the sunshine off. On other occasions it's been absolutely tipping down with rain, and those canopies are absolutely great. Wish everyone would install them. So they've got a lovely colour scheme, they've got lovely layout, they've got attractive looking units. It's a real pleasure to go along to the Fastned charger and charge there. They're always clean, they're always nice and bright, they're always good technology. The screens on the chargers give a lot of information about charging. They're nice and clean. The contactless payment terminal is well set back, and therefore it's not battered about like some of them are. So it's a pleasure to go there. The only sort of downside why it puts them down at 4th is because Many of the sites now do not have the canopy. For some reason, they've either not yet fitted it or they're not going to fit it. If they put canopies on everywhere, Fastned would be higher up my list of the top 5. So let's move on now to Osprey. So number 3, Osprey. Gorgeous units. These are Kempower units, and a lot of people rave about the Kempower. In practice, I find there are very little difference between all the others. If it says 150 kilowatts, they pretty much all give 150 kilowatts, give or take a couple. However, these are really attractive units. So all of the gear and the switch gear and cabinets and everything are hidden out the way, so you don't look at those. The only thing you look at is a really thin, slim pillar, really. And they've got the iconic colours, orange and white, and they also have the huge spring overhead, which takes the weight of the charging cable. It's a great shame it needs them, but it actually makes them look really cool. They are really attractive to look at, and that spring does actually quite a good job in taking a lot of the weight. It doesn't take away the stiffness of the cable, which is why they're a little bit down the list. However, overall, it's a good experience. On the screen, if you want to use it, there's a load of information there for the tech nerds. You can find out the charging curves and the rates and everything else, and gives you clues about optimizing your charging experience. Everything is good about it. The ease of use, if you want to download the app, it's downloaded in less than 60 seconds. Straight in, find your location, put your payment method in, and away you go. It's a really quick and easy thing to use. So that is the number 3. Can they go higher? Probably not. I think that's about the correct position for them. So we're heading now to number 2, and an awful lot of you accuse me of being a Tesla fanboy. No, Tesla's number 2, not number 1. So Tesla's number 2, the V4 chargers. Now, Tesla have a policy of only making one charger at a time. So they will run it to the death, to the end of the life of it. And then when they need to change, they'll do an upgrade. They'll leave all the old ones out there as a general rule, and then start fitting the new ones from that day forward. And in August last year, we moved up to the V4s. Up until then, the Tesla's superchargers were all identical to look at. V1, V2, V3. At a glance, they're identical to look at. They've got the red and the white and the hole in the middle and the cable in the middle. So really attractive units. The only difference between them, the V1s, you won't come across them. I don't think there's any left operational in the UK. I think they've all been swapped over now for the better ones. The V2s, you can recognise them instantly. They've got the 2 cables. They've got the Tesla proprietary plug, which I've got on my older Model S, and they've also got CCS2. So you can always tell the V2, it's got 2 cables. The V3 has only got 1 cable, it's CCS2. So on my car, I need an adapter to use that one, but every other car in the country, CCS2, you can use those straight away. And they were great. And then when it went up to the V4, there was a big change in colour scheme. Gone are the reds, gone are the holes through the middle and the see-through and everything. And we've now got a really tall, slender white with some delicate lettering on it. And it's a very different charger. It is, the cable is round the back, but to make it available for all cars to use, not all cars have the charging port where the Teslas do, which is always on the rear left. So on the V4s, you get a cable at the back, and it's about a 4.5 metre cable. It's amazingly light. It's very, very flexible, and the plug is probably the most stylish plug I've ever seen. It's really slender, really, it's basically a work of art. That cable you can take all the way out to the full 4.5 metre range, and there's no weight in the cable at all. You don't need all these pulleys and springs and everything. So it will stretch to anything. If you've got a car, you either pulling forward and it'll do front left, front right, or front. If you have the charging port at the back, you reverse in, it'll do right rear, right left, right middle. That cable will reach any car as long as you pull in the right way. The terminal on the side, there's a very neat screen. It's a very small one. It's smaller than most of the screens you'll come across. Very informative for people who need it. Nice and bright and clear. But it's really, you look at it once and it says apply contactless, accepted. And after that, you don't use it much. Most of us will monitor the charging session either on the app or in the car. But it's nice to have. And a contactless terminal, a lot of the older ones, these were bolted onto the outside of the charger itself. They get battered and bruised and everything else, and it's usually the charger, the contactless terminal, that will fail first. So with the V4s, there's nothing visible. It's all built into the unit. So you swipe your card across the face of the unit below the screen, and the information comes up on the screen. They're lovely, lovely units to look at. They're just really an awful lot taller, very thin, very slender. They look really elegant. Cable, absolute delight to use. You can whiz it around all over the place. If you've got a Tesla, we don't use the screen or the terminal, we just plug them in. If you've got a non-Tesla, you can use just contactless, or you'll use the app. But they're my number 2 choice. I think just looking at them, they are a really stunning looking charger. A lot more than some of the really big and bulky chargers. I really don't like that look where they cram in an awful lot of the switchgear and everything into the charger itself, so the charger becomes effectively a cabinet with just a plug on it. These have gone the opposite way. So who's the number 1? Well, it's a newcomer on the block. We recently went up to Scotland, to Kenn Lodge on the A74M, and before that we were down in Cornwall and we went to Gloucester services, and the newcomer on the block is Swarco. Now this is an offshoot of a famous jeweller company, a Swiss company, and they make the crystals. You'll know who I'm talking about. And for a variety of reasons, there was a long tale about how they got there. It was something about the waste crystals that they couldn't use. They crushed up and they put it into paint, which was on the roads, and that gives it its reflective nature. So those crystals are used as a powder. Then from that they got into some car parks, and then from there they got into EV charging itself. And they've developed their own unit, and it is stunning to look at. Has one fault, which is a big fault, but it's still well worthy of a number 1 position. What it has is a 32-inch LED screen on the front of it. This is massive. You think that the display in a Tesla's big, that's 17-inch. These things, it's a 32-inch television stood on its end. Full colour, everything going for it, fully weather protected. It is such an attractive unit, stands out. Oh, it's beautiful to look at. The screen is there for a number of things, and one of the things is you can split the screen because it's so big, and you can have the top half of the screen on an advertising scroll, so you can advertise your services or products or the local garage or the local pub, whatever it is, whoever's willing to pay. And then on the bottom half of it, you can have all your charging details, so you can have the speed that you're charging, the amount of kilowatt hours added, the price so far, and everything else that you need to know. Everything's built into the screen, so the contactless is built into the screen. It's a really attractive unit to use. It is very, very sensitive when you're using it. You don't have to hack it, press hard or anything. It's a real simple system to use. But when you see them lit up with the big screen and everything, they are so appealing. They just got to take number 1 place. The one downside with them, for whatever reason, I never understand this, is the cable. It is phenomenally heavy. It almost took them their number 1 spot away from them. It is not the best one to use, although it's by far the best one to look at, and that's what we're looking at here, is aesthetics. It's the most attractive unit I think you'll see. They really have to do something about the cable. It is a very thick cable. It has a very strong support, a wire support on it, and I did try to actually lift the cable off the support to take the weight. It is phenomenally heavy. So big black mark for that, but this is aesthetics, not easy use. We will be doing a top 5 ease of use. That will be coming later, but this one is aesthetics, and without a doubt, Swarco take #1 for the most attractive charger that we have seen in the UK in the last 12 months. Well, thanks very much for watching. I'm Dave. If you have enjoyed this, click the like button. It really does help the algorithm with YouTube. If you'd like to see more top 5s or top 10s, please subscribe and click the notification bell so we can notify you as we release new videos. So thanks for watching. I'm Dave.